What's up, New World? And to all my G's. We're back on the motherfucking channel for the glory. For the glory of who? For the glory of the nerds. It's your boy 2G's here. And I'm back in this bitch to talk about some shit that I've been fucking with for so long now. So fucking long now. Bruh. Today, we're talking about one of the greatest, my favorite card game ever. Also, one of my favorite animated series, animes. Haven't really read too much of the mangas of this or anything like that, but today we are chatting about Yu-Gi-Oh. Alright, listen. I've been a huge fan of Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time. Literally watched the series when it came out. Now, we're talking about this obviously in the mainstream mix-up. It's right in that middle spot between Gangsta Ass 90s and the hitters. You know what I said. So, Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh is very interesting because it blew up as a show, but also the card game has become insanely popular between a lot of people, and the generations between Yu-Gi-Oh is insane. Like, there's kids who are just starting to play now, but there's also people who are like in their early 40s who are still kicking and playing Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments and all this shit. Me myself, I am an avid Yu-Gi-Oh player. When I say avid Yu-Gi-Oh player, I mean dead ass an avid Yu-Gi-Oh player. I mean, I've got the smoke, like the smoke, like the smoke, like the smoke, like the smoke. Yo, if you guys ever actually duel in real life and you live nearby, hit me up. We'll fucking duel. It's fun. I actually love dueling. Win or lose, I fucking love dueling. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's such a competitive game. I always compare it to like modern day chess. You can say that it's a super fun, super competitive game, and it all originated from a manga, and then eventually got adapted to an anime. So we'll get into it right now. Kazuki Takahashi, he is the creator of the series in general. He came up with the concept of the card game, which is insane to me. Like, think about the effort that it takes to come up with a card game. Like, for real, a playable card game from front to back that has different ends, different means to victory and stuff like that. All that shit is hard to do because you have to make sure that the game is fair, still complex, but also like detailed with a lot of shit. And I fucking love the idea that they came with the game Yu-Gi-Oh. So, the original concepts came up around 1998 to 1999. We got it in America around like 2000. This is why it fits that perfect window that we're trying to get. And I'm pretty sure we all know the block. You know, when you get off of school, right? And Kids WB has their shit going on. They have like a little blog. You see Mega Man, Anti-Warrior. You'll see Mucha Lucha, you'll see Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon and stuff like that. They had like a little small window. I think it was like 2 hours on Kids WB, and it would show some of the stuff. That's where I got most of the information from. I remember, literally, it's funny because they dropped the series, and then literally shortly after they dropped the cards. So me sitting down watching the series as it play out, I was like, holy crap! If they actually come out with these cards, that'll be insane. Lo and behold, later, the cards came out. So I got into the game. And look, I'll tell y'all a story. Yeah. All right. Look. How I got my first set of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. The Yu-Gi-Oh cards is nefarious, but I'm gonna tell y'all the motherfucking story anyway. Literally, hype kid middle school loves fucking Yu-Gi-Oh, and like everybody else that I fucking knew, how you got your first Yu-Gi-Oh pack? You went to Walmart, you stole them bitches. Like literally, I seen a pack. I was like, whoa, bro. I was like, yo, moms, can I get this? She was like, nope, we don't got time for that shit. I was like, fuck. I had the big old, the bubble jacket. And I was like, damn, son, I'm highly upset that I can't get this. And kids don't steal. Unless it's Yu-Gi-Oh cards because you really want to play. Go ahead and do that shit all day. But, I took the shit and I just put it in my sleeve, huh? Big ass bubble jacket, put that shit in my sleeve and just casually walked out. I get home, mom's was like, "Oh, where'd you get those from?" I was like, "Oh, I been had them." She was like, "No, You didn't. I was like, got them from school. She was like, you already got them. And just turned away. You feel me? But that's how I got my first set of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That's how I got into the game. Nefarious story. But I don't give a fuck because I really liked having those cards. All right, and plus Yu-Gi-Oh, Walmart is ripping the niggas off for cards and shit like that. It's crazy back in the days. Yu-Gi-Oh has become excessively expensive. So the price of cards is going up lately, and well, some vary and stuff. We'll get about that more later when I get talk about more Yu-Gi-Oh shit. But as of now, we're gonna go back straight into the show. Now, the show of Yu-Gi-Oh. It's a great way, honestly, to start learning how to play the game, seeing that it is the foundation of where it came from. I wouldn't say take the beginning of what you see from Yu-Gi-Oh word for word or anything as ultimate, because they're very flawed in the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh. A bunch of dumb shenanigans happen in Yu-Gi-Oh. We'll get to. We start off with a tale about how there was a pharaoh, and in ancient times they had these stone tablets, and on these stone tablets they had spiritual monsters that could come out and be used for like fighting and stuff. Some time passed along, and those ideas and concepts were brought back to life by a man named Maximilian Pegasus. Pegasus decided to not only bring back this idea, but let's make them in a form where it's a playable thing, even in modern time. Let's create the game of Duel Monsters. Yes, in the show, the game is not called Yu-Gi-Oh. It is not called Yu-Gi-Oh. It's called Duel Monster. They play Duel Monsters. We play Yu-Gi-Oh. The name of the game is Yu-Gi-Oh. They play Duel Monsters, okay? Not Duel Masters with Shobu. Who's the man that's underrated? Shobu. That's another thing. So in modern times, we get connected to a kid named Yugi Moto, right? Now Yugi Moto is this young kid. He's in middle school or high school, I believe, and he's short. His hair is fucking give me the wig like this. Yeah, his hair is like that, so I guess you can understand why this kid's getting picked on, right? He's fascinated by this card game. You know, like a lot of kids his age, it's just a recent game. Just like it was recent to us, it was a game that, not too recent, but people have been playing for a while. Well, people have been playing, and a lot of people have been just getting into. So it's fresh, kind of fresh to him too. He's still teaching other people to play and all that. So as he's playing, poor Yugi, he's a short guy, gets picked on a lot. He gets picked on by these two guys, Joey and Tristan. They're two bullies, and apparently they're from New York, which is crazy, son. Well, they're in Japan. I believe they're in Japan. They don't really get a set like countrywide setting on where the fuck they are, but I'm assuming they're in Japan. And it's weird to see blonde-headed ass Joey and Tristan there, but whatever. Anyway, Yugi and his grandfather. Yugi lives with his grandfather. His grandfather was an architect back in the days, and he was also a great duelist too. He had his prize deck that he always kept, and he had a prize card in his possession of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Literally, you could just say Blue Eyes White Dragon anywhere, and anybody who knows anything about Yu-Gi-Oh will understand what you're talking about, which is pretty cool. Granddad Solomon, he had a card shop, which is great access. Fucking fair. Listen to this shit. If you wanted to play Yu-Gi-Oh and you were playing against Yugi, fair chance, because his fucking granddad owning the card shop. Like, how much better does it get than that? You fucking meta bastard. His granddad was an architect. He brought home this really, really interesting item, and this item that he brought home was called the Millennium Puzzle, and it was split into pieces, and nobody could figure out how to put it together to make it do anything, right? So his granddad couldn't even do it. But Yugi is an expert at solving stuff. He has a great knack for solving things. Any problems that need to be solved can be solved by Yugi. He could just think of a solution for it and figure it out. So he was having a tough time himself putting it together, but after some short time, he was able to, piece it together. Joey and Tristan, they had a little run-in with Yugi prior to him piecing it all together. And they took one of the pieces and threw it into the river. And Yugi was, obviously they were jerks back in the day, but Yugi actually stood up for them. And since they stood up for him, once after that, because even bullies get bullied, so they were getting bullied by another bully, and Yugi just has a good heart, so he was protecting the people that even when they were bullying him, and eventually they got attached to the kiddo after seeing him do some brave shit like that. So they were like, all right, we'll make sure Nobody's bullying you. All right, us tag teaming together will make sure nobody ever bullies you again, and we're gonna rock with you. So Yugi started to eventually teach them how to play dual monsters as well and shit. More so Joey than Tristan, because Tristan wasn't really that into it. So later on, they meet a girl named Taya. After Yugi pieces the puzzle together, what unbeknownst to Yugi, the puzzle it came from ancient times, and it's actually one of the 7 millennium items in the series that have a strong connection to the origins of Yu-Gi-Oh. Remember the stone tablets and stuff. So what he doesn't know is that inside this millennium puzzle is the spirit of an ancient pharaoh, and this pharaoh is to have great power. And whoever was to build this puzzle together would have the pharaoh stored into their body and be able to ask and utilize him for different things. So he puts together this puzzle. Once he puts together this puzzle, he is infused with the spirit of Yugi. In the series, he doesn't in the beginning he doesn't even know that this guy is inside his body. You feel me? The pharaoh would just come out and use his body and duel for him and continue on to duel. So the whole thing about Yu-Gi-Oh is it's well, all right. Before I skip too far, we introduced Taya. Taya's introduced blah blah blah. They kind of like each other, Yugi and Taya. She's blah. She doesn't do shit. The game of Yu-Gi-Oh essentially is as simple and not as simple as this. There's a certain number of life points, right? 2 enemies clash it out. The objective is to minimize your opponent's life points to 0, and then you win, right? Standard. Seems standard, but the methods and the requirements and the challenge and the interaction between your opponent differs on how fast and how often and if you're able to do that, which is the great part of Yu-Gi-Oh. So it's basically just a challenge to take your opponent's life points down to 0 and successfully win the game. Now, you can do that in multiple ways. You can attack with monsters. You can activate spell and trap cards or whatever the case may be. But the standard idea is thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that there are 3 variations of cards. There's monster cards, there's magic cards, and there's trap cards. You have a 40 to 60 card deck. You can use all of or none of those combinations of cards and build a deck. Using monsters, you use the attack most of the time to do damage. Spell and trap cards usually buff up your monsters or cause a irritation to enemies and stuff like that, to opposing players and stuff like that. You can disrupt their plays and all that. Essentially, it's a game to where you use what you have to fluently put on monsters on the board to attack your opponent's life points, but also protect your monsters and try to outplay your opponent. So back to the show, Yugi and his grandfather his grandfather more so is in possession of a really, really powerful card called the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now, in the show, there were 4 in total, and Yugi's granddad had 1 copy of it. There's a guy from Yugi's school named Seto Kaiba, rich bastard. Everybody knows that kid. And he's like, hey, yo, ask your granddad to give me that card because I want it. And Yugi's like, no, my granddad ain't going to want to take that shit. It's his prized possession. He's not going to sell it. So Kaiba pulls up and tries to duel his granddad for it. Granddad was like, nah, bro, I'm not putting this shit on the line. This nigga Kaiba goes and kidnaps his grandpa and forces him to duel. I was like, what the fuck? Bruh, we already shaking. We ain't even doing no more dueling. It's time to shake, bro. We shaking it up. Put on the mitts. It's action time. But Yugi's too timid for that type of shit, so he doesn't go for it. So, and look what this guy Kaiba does. He's an asshole, right? Kaiba not only does he kidnap his grandpa, take his prized possession card, but rips that shit up right in front of Yugi. Now, if that ain't time to shake, bruh. Hey, Yug, you need some help? Me and Tristan about to go roll up on Kaiba, knock his bitch ass out. He deserves it. They should have, but they didn't. So, the card got ripped up. And to even add insult to injury, this motherfucker Kaiba had the other 3 copies of the card. So he wanted to make sure that he can only have it, because you're only allowed to play 3 copies of each card in the deck. So he was like, hey, somebody else has a card and you can only play 3. I'll destroy all 3 of them. Now I have all 3 sets of the cards. You feel me? There's only 4 cards ever made of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. He has all 3. Well, the 4th one is destroyed, but it's like insane, right? So Kaiba and Yugi eventually go into a duel themselves. He's like, "Hey, listen, I'm not letting you go through with that." So Yugi uses his granddad's deck to duel Kaiba. Now, the duel is hard. It's just tough. Now Yugi is nice, and I've already told you he's a problem solver. He can get things solved really quickly, or with an ample amount of time he can figure shit out. Kaiba is a prodigy duelist. He strategizes well. He's really aggressive, and he knows the ins and outs of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh. Uh, so Yugi not being, Kaiba has accolades already at this age. Yugi not being someone who's that proficient in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh itself, as he's dueling, he gets a little bit of assistance from the pharaoh inside the Millennium Puzzle. And this is the great interaction that we get between the two. Yugi is strong enough. Yugi is creative enough, and he is inept enough to know how to play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh. But when it comes to outplaying somebody who's already really good at the game, he needed a little bit of assistance, so he used him to get out there, and he won the duel using one of Yugi's grandpa's strongest cards, which is Exodia. Obliterate. That's like a legendary scene. Whenever you got to put that up here, put a gif of that whole scene. That was like a legendary scene, and even the card itself, the card Exodia, is still one of the most impactful cards in the game because it literally just destroys the guy. So the most of the majority of the series of Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of what you could say Pokemon-esque, as like trouble is afoot, let's go handle it. There's obstacles in our way to go solve the trouble, but at the end of the day, we're going to make it and solve the trouble and play. The part of Yu-Gi-Oh that you're going to love is the intricacies between duelists, the different decks that come out, the creativeness behind how you can just turn this card game into a life or death situation, which is amazing. I'm pretty sure everyone has heard of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it. So the different iterations of Yu-Gi-Oh, from the original series to 5Ds to Arc 5, not sevens. Sevens is ass. Don't even bring up sevens. That shit is trash. Okay, Reigns was tolerable, but this shit is butt straight ass. Right, straight ass. Yu-Gi-Oh though, in a whole, it really puts you in a position to where you have to read, be consistent with learning numbers, with quick math and shit like that, strategizing against an opponent, building a deck. It has a lot of features to itself that I feel like it just helps a person in general. Like, just like someone who learns how to play chess, they know how to take their time and be strategic about stuff. And I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh has the same concepts in it. Like I said, there's different iterations of Yu-Gi-Oh. The first one starting with Yugi, and then after a while, like I said, some Pokemon type shit where there's a protagonist and there's an antagonist, and they basically have to beat him using Yu-Gi-Oh, using the card games, because their life isn't like, think about all the, what do you call it? What's the word? Think of all the bullshit that has become accosted. We can't even talk. Think of all of the turmoil caused by a fucking card game. Literally, people get sucked into black holes. They die. You want to talk about crazy? Literally. So the adaptation that I just brought to you guys was the 4Kids version for television. The manga version, the first version, which is known as Yu-Gi-Oh! Zero, I believe. That shit, Yugi kills motherfuckers. Like, he literally kills people. Like, the duels, your life is on the line all the time. And it's not even just duels. Like, he will challenge you to a game of darts or some shit like that. He will challenge you to whatever the fuck he can, and if you lose, you will die. What the fuck? What? A game of darts? And your life is on the line? Bro, I don't want to play with you. And let me tell you something. You know what Yu-Gi-Oh means? Yu-Gi-Oh means king of games. You know what that Millennium Puzzle does? Alright, so look, I'm just going to throw this out here just to splash some information on y'all. Alright, so the 7 Millennium items, let's put them on the screen right now, right? Each of the 7 Millennium items, they definitely have an ability. And the abilities that they have can alter how, you live and how you progress through Yu-Gi-Oh and shit. Now, Pegasus, for example, was a known cheater because his Millennium Eye that he has can look into your mind and stuff like that. And when I say look into your mind, literally look into your mind and at your cards. What? If it's a card game, why are you cheating like that? Right? That's fucked up. The Millennium Necklace can literally predict the future. Why are you allowed to duel? But let me tell you. All right, so I just explained those two things, right? Let me tell you the most cheatinest fucking item in this whole show. The Millennium Puzzle literally gives you advanced luck in anything you do. So this whole heart of the cards shit is also bullshit. That's what heart of the cards means, that if you're down to your last straw and you need to draw one card to get you to where you need to be, and you just top deck that shit. Give me the draw. Put a card in my hand. Yo, if you top deck that shit, it's called heart of the cards. When you have advanced luck, there's no such thing. You're always gonna get what you need to win the duel. You cheating ass piece of shit, Yugi, you bastard. But you gotta love the game. You gotta love the show. You gotta love everything about it. Not getting too deep into a lot of shit. Listen, pick what you want to pick from Yu-Gi-Oh, or just pick up the game. Just pick up the cards. Duel with the rest of us. We fucking love Yu-Gi-Oh. I actually want to maybe live stream if you guys want to fucking see it. I do want to just put up some Yu-Gi-Oh content if you guys want to see. I got my boy Mata who's working on some stuff on his page. I'll try to link some stuff if he wants to his stuff. He's selling cards, I believe. We got a lot of I got a lot of cards myself. I play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh, tons of Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff. So if you guys want to see us play, maybe you know what I'll do? I'll put a shot of me playing right now to see if you guys want to fuck with it. We're gonna do you know, a couple games or maybe a few. I'll do with other players too. If you got EDO Pro, we'll do with anybody who views and shit. Me and my boy Devo can actually have some really funny ass duels and shit. So we'll talk. We'll see what the fuck is up. If you guys want us to play Yu-Gi-Oh and shit like that. If you guys want more of this type of stuff right here, yeah, me going through some games and stuff. If you guys want to see any of that, please like and subscribe. Put all that shit down at the channel. Hit up Uncle Willie Son's Instagram if you guys want tickets to fucking DreamCon. I still got that one ticket for DreamCon. If you guys want that shit, let me know. It is this month on the 28th. The 28th of July in Arlington, Texas. If you guys want to come, please like and subscribe. Hit Uncle Willie Son's Instagram. Send him a DM saying that you want to go. We'll figure it out if you can get your own ticket there. I got the ticket for the event. So hold tight. Me, it's your boy 2Gs. That was one of my favorite things to talk about, Yu-Gi-Oh. I love it. And you guys should love it too. You guys should play if ever you get a chance. I didn't want to go too deep into the show because you guys know about the show. You guys know Yu-Gi-Oh. You already heard of it before. Y'all should play. That's all I'm going to say. It's your boy 2Gs. From Glory to Nerds. Y'all be safe. We'll holla. Wait, I almost forgot to mention. So, the tournaments, the style stuff that they have in Yu-Gi-Oh. So, there's different types of tournaments that you can eventually enter in Yu-Gi-Oh that exist throughout the massive time frame of Yu-Gi-Oh. And like I said, this is from the original Yu-Gi-Oh to Varaine's and stuff. There's different tournaments that people enter. And the concept basically is you play the card game, you win, you get prize money, or you get whatever you know basically want at the end. We're working on doing some tournaments as well, some live tournaments. Since COVID and stuff, not a lot of people have been doing like that live, but I feel like we're in a position now where we can start doing it in a small, scale and whatnot. What I want to do is Scrub League Yu-Gi-Oh. In the sense, I don't like meta Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't play meta Yu-Gi-Oh. That shit is fucking annoying. I don't have the time to do it. I'm not that interested in it at all. I feel like it's just a boring way to play a really fun game. And what I mean by Scrub League is that we're going to set some rules, some defined rules, to where we can make it as fun as possible and you could utilize as many of the fun decks that are here. There's 10,000 some odd cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! And a good percentage of them will never see fun play or see active play because you can't play them in today's meta world. Even though it shifts and turns and goes around wherever it wants to go, we still want to have fun playing Yu-Gi-Oh! The way we used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! So, we're going to start a Scrub League tournament. And we know people, and for anybody who watches this show or in the nearby area want to hit us up to play, to be involved with this, just send us a like or comment or something like that. Somewhere below, hit Uncle Willie Son's IG or whatever, and talk to us. we're trying to bring fun Yu-Gi-Oh back, and me personally, I have tons of decks, and I would love to see them all in action. So we're gonna start doing some live streams of live duels if you want to see that as well. Not even if you want to see it, just because we fucking want to do it. We're gonna put it up there for y'all. So if you guys enjoy live duels or any of the duels that I'm gonna be doing online and stuff, join in. You know, support what we got going on. If you love to duel, we love to duel too. So you know, you'll never know what happens. We'll try to do this tournament. We'll see. Of course, I'm about to win this bitch because I'm fucking nasty. So I'm winning. I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. I'll bring whatever, and we'll see. But we'll see you there when we get around to that time. Once again, it's your boy 2Gs. Be safe. I'm out.